Hey everybody, thanks for joining. This is Ray Zwiebelhofer here, President of the World Software Corporation. I hope you are all good and your families are healthy and you're keeping safe and you're working hard. Seems interesting times we're in right now, and we are, as every company, continually looking for ways to add value and really during this time here, and I think for the next year, I think education is going to be really important. You know, free education of sharing ideas, products, workflow tips that can really help you be more productive as our customers, and we may have prospects on the line here too. One of the things that's really been kind of obvious with the remote work is the ability to not only connect from anywhere, but the mention everywhere we hear about cloud solutions. And we have, I guess we're not bullish on cloud solutions. Worldox has traditionally been an on-premise system, but years ago, we've had solution partners such as the folks here on this call today, LexCloud, begin to host our product as well as other products in the firm in their data centers. So effectively, Worldox is in the cloud, as is your other products. And I think a lot folks that I talk to don't quite understand that. They see the news on a particular product that's, hey, cloud enabled this product. And that's good. I'm sure they work well. But what I've found when I've talked to my small to mid-sized firms is that satisfies the need of one particular area or product. And unless and until they have individual products all cloud-based, they still have to log in to get to their time accounting, matter management system, and other systems within the firm. So we love our hosting providers, which can host your servers and your desktops and anything else for redundancy, flexibility, and mobility. And so we thought, these first series here, we would bring some premier partners on, such as LexCloud, and just talk about what they do and how they can help your firm. And we certainly have hundreds of references in this area here. If you want to talk to other firms, reach back out to our sales department of how they're working and how they haven't missed a beat through these times. So Mike and Scott, thank you for joining us.
Thanks, Ray.
So everything is well up there in sunny Canada?
Yeah, it's a beautiful, warm Friday afternoon, and everything's cooking along here in Toronto. We're still in kind of phase 1 lockdown, but the rest of the province is easing restrictions quite a bit. Scott's out in Ottawa, and he's having probably a little more access to shopping and services than I am here in Toronto. But yeah, that's basically where we're at.
Fantastic. So I will shut up now. I just wanted to say hi to all, and I encourage you to continue to listen to our upcoming webinars as we go throughout this year and have meaningful partners to share their solutions and products that can help us all be more productive. So I'll leave it to Hella to take over from here.
Thanks, Ray. Welcome to today's webinar. I am Hella Schwartz-Grossman, Marketing Manager at Worldox. Before we get started with the webinar, I just want to go over a few housekeeping items. Today's webinar will be recorded and the link will be emailed to you afterwards. Everyone is muted right now. If you have any questions, go ahead and type them into the GoToWebinar questions pane, and then we'll address them at the end of the webinar. Today's webinar is part of our new legal technology webinar series where we will introduce some of our partners. So join us on Fridays at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. As Ray mentioned, first of our premier cloud hosting providers, partners, and today we would like you to meet LexCloud. The speakers today are Mike Dewdney, CEO at LexCloud, and Scott McNeil, Senior Technical Manager and Applications Lead at LexCloud. Mike has been with LexCloud for 18 years. Over that time, Mike has executed hundreds of IT projects, such as paperless office, litigation workflow, and firm-wide technology transitions. His leadership is key to the design and delivery of all LexCloud's projects. Scott McNeil has been with LexCloud since 2007. Scott is the Senior Technical Manager and Applications Lead. He's a leading expert in Worldox document management and has directly managed many of LexCloud's implementations. For over 20 years, LexCloud has focused on bringing the benefits of technology to Canadian law firms. LexCloud is proud to have developed Cloud Desktop, the leading cloud IT platform for Canadian law firms. Cloud Desktop delivers the benefits of cloud technology, yet is fully compatible with existing legal applications. Built for law firms, it replaces on-site IT with a highly reliable cloud solution for a simple monthly fee. LexCloud has assisted hundreds of firms to improve their practice efficiency with solutions ranging from IT networks to document and practice management software. From offices in Toronto and Ottawa, the consultants work closely with firms to adopt and support in-house and cloud solutions. LexCloud is the exclusive host of Worldox Cloud Canada. They offer both Worldox Cloud as well as other methods for your firm to work remotely. Today, Mike and Scott will describe how LexCloud can improve your productivity by allowing you to work from anywhere with their secure remote solutions. Thank you in advance for the attention you'll be giving this webinar today. Mike and Scott, I will hand it over to you now.
Great, thank you very much, Hella, and thanks, Ray, also for the introduction. Appreciate you guys inviting us, and very much appreciate everybody joining us on a beautiful Friday afternoon. At least it's a beautiful sunny Friday afternoon in Toronto, so it's a big ask to have people take their time away from the work and their families or golf or whatever interesting things you have going on and join us here. So thank you. So as Hella mentioned, we've been at LexCloud have been providing IT services and consulting to law firms for 25 years now. We built and launched our private cloud platform back in 2011. So we've been doing cloud for a long time, relatively speaking. With over 1,200 law firm users on our platform across Canada, we're the leading provider of cloud services to the law firms of the country. We have a very strong partnership with Microsoft as well. We're one of just 12 qualified multi-tenant hosters in Canada, that's QMTH, authorized to run Office 365 apps in our virtual desktop platform. So we're in a unique position where we can deliver you a virtual desktop where all of your applications run, and we can include Office 365 in that as part of our subscription fee to you. So it's all a bundle and eliminates having to subscribe to multiple things from multiple providers. And of course, we're also the exclusive host in Canada of Worldox Cloud. So our clients are exclusively law firms. They range in size from 5 to 150 users and in all areas of practice. Our clients are generally more progressive firms with a modern approach to facilitating in-office and remote employee access and who don't want to be tied to a physical server room or deal with the hassles of managing on-site IT. We've been delivering Worldox solutions for over a decade, and we're members of Worldox's exclusive inner circle where partners can provide contributions to Worldox in the form of advice and guidance on product development. We can bring the voices of our clients to Worldox, and a tremendous benefit for us is that we get more direct access to senior people at Worldox to make sure that we're advocating for our clients. Worldox Cloud Canada, we launched back in 2015 in partnership with Worldox to bring a Canadian soil version of Worldox Cloud to Canada. So we'll touch base a little more on this later on, but this is solves a problem of data jurisdiction for firms who would like to use Worldox Cloud and keep the data in Canada. So this situation that we've all been flung into, and this turmoil has taught us a number of lessons over the last few months. Number one is that remote capabilities are no longer optional. Law firms have to be able to provide full IT functionality to its users wherever they are, and those capabilities can't be tied to the physical office. Business continuity and security are crucial. Firm managers have to ensure that the data is available and protected wherever the data is and wherever the users are. Insecure home computers have become ripe targets for hackers looking for valuable confidential data. So that's become a very, very significant security concern, as many law firm users are now connecting from the same home computer that their kids play Minecraft on and that other things happen on. So managing the personal use and professional use of technology becomes a challenge. Key takeaway is the crucial role that document management and collaboration play in allowing firms to work effectively, remotely, and in a distributed manner. It's key, these are key technologies to allow team members to share information and to have context-specific discussions when they can't easily just hop into the meeting room in the office and pour over documents together. They need technology to facilitate that, that same capability efficiently. Another unsurprising takeaway from the last few months is that video conferencing is no longer a novelty, occasionally used for client meetings and for you know, the odd time to time sort of thing. It's now core technology. It's a first-class core feature of a firm's technology in use by courts and in all areas of practice. Again, not an optional thing. It has to be available to everybody and easily and efficiently activated. Another takeaway, I think, that is important, many firms who had very static in-house on-premises technology were caught a little flat-footed and unable to react efficiently and effectively to this circumstance that we all face. You can't think of IT in terms of when do I have to buy my next server again. Law firms have to maintain maximum flexibility by allowing IT services to expand and contract and adjust elastically to meet changing requirements in terms of both capacities and capabilities. If you buy a server now, you have to if you buy a server now and you expect that it's going to provide all the features that you need for the next 5 or 6 years, you're likely to be in for some nasty surprises along the way, as many firms had some nasty surprises in March when they could no longer work from their offices. So private cloud represents a solution to a lot of these problems and allows you to prepare yourself to handle these requirements, particularly when not all of your applications are cloud native, as Ray touched on. Most firms are very reliant on applications and technologies that you can't just simply access only in a browser and get the full capabilities. There are many software programs that have to run in Windows and are not compatible with running strictly over the internet. So traditional Windows networks have a long life, and you can kind of get the best of both worlds by porting those technologies into the cloud, and that's what we've called private cloud and cloud desktop. So with cloud desktop, all of your systems become virtualized and moved into the data center, and you access everything from a virtual desktop, which is presented to you the same way from any location and on any device. Now here's a diagram of roughly what it looks like. That's you at the top as the user. you access your data, which is protected by two-factor authentication and encryption in the data center. A great feature of this model from a security perspective is that the data never leaves the data center. It doesn't go to your local computer. If your computer gets stolen, the bad guy's not going to find any firm data on the hard drive. So you, as the LexCloud user, with your screen there, are accessing everything, all of your firm data, which stays locked up inside that data center and never actually comes down to your local computer. All of that infrastructure, it replaces all of the servers and systems that you have in your office. You can use any device then to connect to your virtual desktop, a desktop PC or a laptop, a Mac computer, or a tablet. And when you connect to your virtual desktop, that's a persistent virtual desktop that always looks the same regardless of where you're connecting from. The icons on the desktop all stay laid out the way you left them. The document that you had drafted on the desktop is right where you left it. If you were working in Word when you were on the PC at your home office and you left a document on the screen with the cursor blinking in it where you last stopped typing, and then you pick up your iPad and you go and walk down to the patio and you connect to your virtual desktop again, you're connecting to the exact same screen that you left off on the other computer. Your document is still there with the cursor blinking away right where you left it, except you're connecting in from a different device. So the Cloud Desktop provides support for all your users with our help desk, and it provides for advanced security, end-to-end management, monitoring, anti-threat software, business continuity with backups and redundancies, mobility with the ability to access from any device at any time. And of course, this is all independent of your physical office. So you can literally connect from anywhere that you have a modest internet connection. It's compatible with all of your normal Windows software. That's PC Law or Time Matters or Amicus Attorney, ACL, and of course Worldox, and from a number of different angles, which we'll touch on in more detail. So, more concretely, what are the options for Worldox in this remote and distributed world? So we have three main methods for delivering Worldox to you. Option number one is to have Worldox deployed inside of your private cloud desktop, where it functions exactly as it would on a traditional network, on a traditional PC with all its normal capabilities, except that it lives in the data center. This can also be extended to provide native direct access from a web browser via Worldox Web 3.1. And Scott's going to jump into some more details on that when I turn it over to him shortly. This effectively provides all of your IT infrastructure and needs, including Microsoft Office 365 and Worldox, all for a monthly subscription. From a security perspective, this is extremely secure. The data is accessed only inside of the virtual desktop, and it never actually leaves the data center. It never gets saved on the local computer. It remains encrypted at rest and in transit, which are key things that any law firms who do business with large institutions, insurance companies, and financial institutions will be required to provide proof of. So that approach provides that capability. Second option for accessing Worldox is to subscribe to Worldox Cloud Canada. In this configuration, you keep all of your existing IT infrastructure as it is, and you simply subscribe to Worldox Cloud. You'll install a little piece of software on your local computer that connects to the hosted Worldox infrastructure at LexCloud, where all the documents and data live. And you simply pay a monthly subscription per user, and your data is stored with us. From a security perspective, the infrastructure is very secure. It's run and managed and stored in our highly secure facility, where it's monitored and managed by our team of experts and rocket scientists. In this configuration, the weakest link of the chain is the end user's computer. When a user accesses a document through Worldox Cloud Canada, the document is pulled out of the data center and brought to the local computer where Word opens it and manipulates it and works on it. And so that document is for the period of time that the user is working on it is stored locally on the computer. So that represents a modest security risk, and it makes it very, very important that the local computer be well managed from a security perspective. Ideally, everything on that local hard drive would be encrypted and be locked down so that user permissions are reduced, so users don't inadvertently activate malware. And option number 3 is simply to have LexCloud host Worldox Web 3.1 and have that simply as another interface to access your in-house traditional Worldox deployment. So if you already have Worldox and you're satisfied with your existing IT infrastructure, you can simply extend your in-house deployment by subscribing to Worldox Web 3.1 hosted by us. You gain all of the benefits of Worldox Web Mobile without having to deploy the IT infrastructure in your office. And of course, from a security perspective, all of the data is under your control and your governance, so you need to make sure that you have all of your appropriate security configurations in place to protect your data and your users. So those are the 3 key ways to access Worldox. Number 1, the private cloud desktop, which effectively replaces the entirety of your IT infrastructure with a subscription to LexCloud's cloud desktop. Option number 2 is to subscribe to Worldox Cloud Canada, where you simply put a piece of software on your PC that allows you to run Worldox with the backend hosted by us. And option number 3, Worldox Web 3.1, which is just to augment your existing in-house on-prem Worldox deployment. So I'm going to turn control over now to Scott, who is going to walk us through some live demonstrations of the various scenarios and show us how it all looks and feels. So Scott, I'm going to attempt to turn over control to you here.
Yeah, thanks, Mike. Okay, so thanks everybody for having us today. I'm glad that we can come here to show the different ways that you can work using our services and Worldox. So what I have prepared is some demos of logging into our cloud desktop service using Worldox Cloud Canada and using the 3 different ways that you can access your data with Worldox Web 3.1, which can be used to extend your existing Worldox installation. So it shouldn't be too long. I'm happy to answer any questions kind of at the end, but I'll show you the different details and I'll talk a little bit about them as I go through them. So I have videos prepared that show the process, and I'm just going to talk over top. I didn't want to run into any technical hiccups. So if there's anything that I don't show, I can always answer it at the end. So let me queue up the first one. So we're going to talk about private cloud. So I'm going to show you how we log into it. And as Mike was mentioning about security, with private cloud, all of your data is always protected. It never leaves that cloud desktop environment. You're not copying data down to your local machine. You're working with it in the data center, and you're using Worldox to access your documents inside the data center, but not ever having the data get back to your local machine. So that's a key point about private cloud. You have very controlled access, and it also supports all those traditional applications. So, document automation, practice management, accounting software like PC Law is all supported by this cloud desktop service that we offer. And that you can access it from any type of device, like Mike mentioned as well, from a Windows machine, a Mac, a thin client, an iOS device, etc. So the process that I'm about to show you is basically the same on any types of devices, but let me get my video ready here. So I'm going to close this PowerPoint and I'm going to open this up here. So here's the process. that we're going to log into our private cloud. So you're going to have a website you're going to go to, and you're going to type in your username and password. Okay, and after I hit the logon button, we're going to be presented with a two-factor authentication screen. So what's happening at this point is Duo Mobile, in this case, that's what we're using to do the two-factor authentication, has sent my phone a notification, or it's opened a notification in Duo on my phone that I have to allow. So I'm going to have to click approve the login. So this prevents anybody who might have your password but not your phone from being able to log into your cloud desktop. So
hey Scott,
yep.
Mike here. Sorry to jump in and interrupt you there. At the moment, we're just seeing your LexCloud.ca desktop background. We're not seeing the.
Oh, sorry, it changed. So let me back that up for 10 seconds. It must have did it when I changed my.
That's great. We can see your, we can see that video queued up now.
Perfect. Thanks, Mike. So let me reverse that. So let's show you the process here. So I'm going to get to a web page where I type in my my address, and I'm going to type in my username and password, and I'm going to click the logon button. And at that point, I'm going to be paused by this two-factor authentication screen. So like I was saying, this is Duo Mobile that will kind of intercept your login. So when you're outside of the office, you're going to get a notification on your phone to approve this login. And so it eliminates the password as the single point of failure. So you're going to approve this login on your phone. If you were physically in your office on a trusted network, this won't pop up because you're already in your office. But when you're outside the office, the way that we have it configured, it will prompt you to do two-factor authentications. Yeah, so can everybody see my screen just that now that I'm reconnected here?
It appears that we can.
Perfect. Okay, yeah, so sorry about that. I got interrupted by connectivity. I guess it shows the importance of having your virtual desktop that is still going to be there when I reconnect to it. So Mike was explaining two-factor authentication, and so after that process completes, it brings us to the page where we actually launch our desktop. So on the screen, we can see we'll have just desktop as an icon, and we'll click that to launch our virtual desktop. And once this desktop appears, I'll be logged in and I'll be able to access all of my applications that I'm used to. So, in here is Office, Worldox, and so if I open up Worldox, it works just like it does if I'm in the office. So if I'm using it on premises, it's going to work the exact same way that it is now inside the private cloud environment. So if I want to open a document, I'm just going to head over to a document, double click on it, and it's just going to open up in Office. And Office is running inside that private cloud, so it's never leaving that environment. So works just the same as it always does, though. We can close it. If we wanted to create and save a document, it's going to work in the same way. We're going to open up Word, and we're going to type something into it. And just like Worldox works, usually, if you have an on-premises network, you're able to save the document in the same way. We'll use our favorite matters in this case, and we'll fill out our client and matter, our document type, and leave our author and typist alone. So just as it would normally work, as you're used to it, running Worldox, we click OK, and now our document is saved to the system. So everything works in the same way. That's what's great about private cloud, is that you have all those traditional applications, and then also within the private cloud environment, we've got Zoom, where you can host your meeting inside the private cloud. You can do your screen sharing, do your video conferencing, all within the private cloud. You don't have to have it installed on your endpoints. You just have to access it within here. And same with Microsoft Teams and whatever other application you happen to have, like your accounting software, like your practice management software. I just have a few apps installed in this demo environment. But anything that you can typically use on a regular Windows machine is going to work inside the cloud environment. So, and when you're done, if you want to log out, you're just going to right-click on the Start button, just like you normally would sign out of your PC at home. You sign out of the virtual desktop. So that's our core product, this private cloud setup where you can do all those traditional things. All of your data is contained in that environment. You're accessing it in a secured way. So it's a great way to access your apps, and especially Worldox. I find it works great in this cloud desktop environment. So that's the first video I wanted to show you, and so we got interrupted on that. The next video that I want to show you is Worldox Cloud Canada. So a different product that you're going to use instead of private cloud. So if you're a firm that's interested in just having Worldox, maybe you have other apps delivered to you in a different way, and you just want to have Worldox hosted by us, we can do that too. And so we are the Canadian soil-based provider of Worldox Cloud. So you can sign up for the service on a per user per month subscription, and you get full Worldox. It's just hosted at our data center. So the data in Worldox Cloud, isn't going to be in your office. It's going to be securely stored in our data center facility. But the difference between Worldox Cloud and Cloud Desktop is when you go to open a document, that document is going to get copied down to your local machine. So you need to, like Mike was mentioning, you have to take precautions about protecting your data on your machine and make sure that you've got the right things in place to make sure that if if your computer goes missing or something like that, that you're protected. So let's show you how Worldox Cloud is going to work. So I'm going to open up another video, and I'll just explain what's happening in here as it moves along. So we've got Worldox Cloud already launched. So if you notice on the desktop, there's a Worldox Cloud icon or Cloud Canada icon. And actually, so there's going to be a little piece of software you install in your machine. And when you install that, it's going to let you launch Worldox Cloud Canada. So you're going to double click on the icon on your desktop, and you're going to type in your username and password that you've been provided, and Worldox is going to launch. And what's available to you inside Worldox Cloud is two-factor authentication. So what we're seeing on the screen now is the prompt to do two-factor authentication with Worldox Cloud. So as it opens up, it's prompting me to enter a code that it's going to text to my mobile phone. So right there, that Scott's Mobile is a button that I'm going to click, and once I click that, it's going to send my phone a text message. And after a couple seconds, I'll get the text message, and then I'll enter it into the prompt that shows on the screen here. So I'm clicking it, and so it sent this text message. I'm going to look for that subject on the line and take the code and type it in. And once I type in the code into this screen, it's going to show me Worldox documents. And so this is my demo environment. It's just got a bunch of different documents in different states. So that's actually stored on Worldox Cloud Canada. So if you wanted to open a document up, it's as simple, just like Worldox Pro, you're just going to double click on a document. And that document is going to download to my local computer and then open up in the applications on my local machine. So I have to have Word installed locally, but if I make some changes, it works the same way. So I save the document, and once I close it, that document is going to auto upload back to the data center, and it's going to check itself back in. So that's kind of the process. So with Worldox Cloud, you get a service that allows you to have Worldox. The documents live in the data center, but when you work with them, you kind of pull them down, work on them on your local machine, and then it puts them back. So it allows you to have Worldox without having a whole private cloud, right? So, but you have those things to consider when you're using something like Worldox Cloud. So a few other things that we're going to do in here. So if I want to, create a document, I can do that as well. We have all of the full integration that Worldox provides with opens and saves and so on. So, just like Worldox Pro, if I go into Word and create a document, I'll just type something in here and hit the save button. It's going to give me that Worldox profile card that I'm used to, and I give it a name, and I fill out the profile information and click OK, and that will put the document in Worldox Cloud Canada. So it works basically identical to the traditional version of Worldox, but instead we're running it in this cloud manner. So yeah, so the document is saved, and when I close it, it puts the final copy back up in the cloud server. And so you'll see a little status bar go across the screen, and it kind of shows that the document's been uploaded. And it all happens automatically. There's no you having to worry about checking something out and putting it back in. It's seamless. You open something, it downloads locally, you close it, it automatically uploads back. So that's Worldox Cloud. And when you want to log out, you just kind of right click on the system tray icon and it closes, and now you're logged out of Worldox Cloud. So you can use it on any machine that you have. So maybe you have an machine in the office that you're using. You log into it with the user account. When you get home, you can log into it from that home computer. So you can have it on a bunch of computers. It's just kind of, you'll have one user account to log into it. So that's Worldox Cloud. And so that, along with private cloud, are kind of the two offerings of products that we do with LexCloud in terms of accessing your data. But you can extend either one of those with Worldox Web 3.1. So this is the brand new version of Worldox Web. So whatever installation of Worldox you have, whether it's professional, in the cloud, or an on-premises version of Worldox, you can enable Worldox Web. And what's great about it now is that the licenses for it, if you have Worldox Pro, are included. You don't have to buy licenses for it anymore. You get it included. You have to have some pieces in place to host some IT components, but LexCloud can do that for you. So let's show you the different ways that you can access your documents with Worldox Web. And the first way is with a browser access. So if I want to log in to see my Worldox documents via a web browser, I can do that. So I've got a Worldox website here. Worldox.LexCloud.ca is the one that I'm using. I'm going to log in with my email address and my Active Directory password. So that's the password that I use to log into my computer. In this case, I've saved my credentials, not best practice, but just for the purposes of my demo. So I'm logging in as a demo account to my Worldox website. So let's click the login button. And so this has the same security considerations that you need to think about for Worldox Cloud. When you are working in this environment, you can see your documents. They're stored on your Worldox servers, but once you pull them down, they're on your local machine, so you need to safeguard that local machine. So you can see when I log in, though, we do have two-factor authentication. So the same thing as Worldox Cloud, it's going to, and then you type the code in, click send, and that lets you log into Worldox Web. And so it's going to look a little bit different than regular Worldox. It's just a different approach, but all the core features are here. So if you want to open some documents, you can do that. We're just kind of at the landing page right now, but if I head over to favorite matters, I can see all of the recent matters that I've opened, and I'm going to open the City of Mesa general matter here, and I'm going to see all my documents. So there's Word documents, PDFs, if there was Excel spreadsheets, so there's email messages in there. And then if I want to open a document up, a couple ways I can do it, but if I check it out, it will lock the document so that no one can edit it while I'm working on it, because I'm downloading it to my local machine, and then I can open up in Word on this local machine here. So you can see in the bottom left, because I'm in Chrome, it's downloaded it, so I can click on it, and it's going to open up. Because it's an internet download, I'm going to have to click Enable Editing, so I can make some changes. And then I have to save it. So now it's saved locally. It hasn't automatically put itself back up into the server. So to get it back up, I can click the check-in button. And I have a couple options here. I can overwrite the document that's in Worldox. I can create a new version of that document in Worldox, or I can discard, which means just kind of clear the checkout status. In this case, I'm going to pick new version. And so I'll click new version, and this happens to go to my downloads folder. I'm going to go to the document at the top because that's the one I edited, and select it. And then it checks itself back in as the next version. So you can see we're at version 4 of that City of Mesa gas sales agreement. So I was able to download a copy, edit the document, and then upload it back as a new version. So that's the kind of things that web lets you do, you're also able to search. You know, all of the regular searching you expect in Worldox is all there. So the search box at the top, if I type in Mesa, for example, is going to show me all the documents that have the word Mesa in its name. You can do your regular searching for clients and matters. You can, you know, look for doc types, authors, date ranges, etc. That's all done with the advanced search on the right side. And then also you can search for content just like you would in the regular Worldox professional app. And other thing I wanted to highlight in here is that this is how you download, this is where you download this next piece I'm going to show you. So if you head over to that gear on the right side, you have a download link for the Worldox web agent, the web integration agent. So this is the second method I'm going to show you to connect to Worldox 3.1. So you can see there's web agent in the list there, and you can click on it. It's going to download that to your machine, and you can install it. There's also options in here to do change your two-factor authentication and log out. So that's just going to log out your session once you click on logout, and we're going to be back at the login screen after we click the logout button. So that's browser access to Web 3.1. That'll work, you know, on any machine that you don't have anything installed on. Maybe you have to quickly grab a document. You don't want to bother installing anything else on it. You can just do that. So let's close that. So second way I'm going to talk about Worldox Web 3.1 is with the Worldox Web Integration Agent. And this is a really neat way that you can access your documents. It is a piece of software you install on your machine, kind of like the Worldox Cloud Canada client, but now you have this Worldox Web Integration Agent. And so when you install that, you're going to get an icon on your desktop. So I'm pretty sure you can still see my screen here. So this is my local computer here. There's the Web Integration Agent, so I can see that's installed here. And what it does is when it's running, it's going to have a window that looks like you're accessing via your browser. It's going to look the same way that I just showed you in Google Chrome, but it's its own little app. And what it does is it gives you full integration with all your apps on your local machine via opens and saves. So let's show you what that's all about. So let's open up our Worldox Web Integration Agent video here. And so here's my desktop, and there's the icon, and I'm going to launch it. And so I've already launched it in this case, and at the bottom you can see that it's running. And when I go down to open up that app, it's going to have a login page, just like my browser. I'm going to use my email address and my Active Directory password. So I'm going to type those in and click login. And so once I click login, you're going to see also two-factor authentication. So, you know, big topic is security, and it's really important. I feel most people in IT feel that we have two-factor authentication enabled. So it's great that it's all built into this web integration agent like this. So we'll type in our code that we got in our text message, and now we're at our landing page. And this looks just like the browser, but it's its own little app. And so when we want to, say, open a document, I can do the same thing that I did in our browser. I can head over to, say, favorite matters and look at one of my recent locations in Worldox, City of Mesa, general matter in this case. And if I wanted to open that, say, City of Mesa gas sales agreement document, I'll double click on it this time. And because we're using the web integration agent, it automatically downloads that document to my local machine and opens it up on Word on my local machine. So now it's taken a copy out of, you know, wherever Worldox is, whether it's in LexCloud or someone else, and put it on my local machine. So now if I want to make some changes, I can do that. And by the way, it's checked it out automatically before as it downloaded it, just like Worldox Cloud does. So I made some changes, closed it, and now it's uploaded it back and checked it back in. So that's kind of what the web integration agent gives you. It's just kind of another way to access your documents. And it's using web as the backend now instead of you know, more traditional ways to access Worldox. You do have all of the same searching capabilities built into the web integration agent. And if you wanted to create a document, the same thing, like if I wanted to open up Word and hit the save button, this looks a little bit different, but you do have that open and save integration just like regular Worldox does, Worldox Professional, where you have your profile card pop up when you try to save something. So in this case, I'm going to save this document and type in letter to John Smith and give it a profile. and I'm going to click the Save button, and now that's put the document into Worldox, and as soon as I close it, it will upload its final copy if it needs to. And so it's a good way to use Worldox. It's different from your browser. It gives you that full integration. So if you're using Worldox Web, this is a great option for you to get access to your documents. So if you want to log out, same thing as the Worldox web browser. You have that gear in the top right. You can click on it, and it will allow you to log out of Worldox web integration agent. And it brings you back to your login screen. So that's the second way I wanted to show you how you can use Worldox Web. Last way that I want to show you is with Worldox for iOS. So you've got...
sorry, Scott, to interrupt you. Just being mindful of time, be a good idea to maybe just do an abbreviated version of this so that we have a few minutes at least reserved for getting some questions at the end.
Okay, great. So yeah, so this is just a couple minutes. So here's Worldox for iOS. So I have Worldox that I can download on from the App Store, and it's the only option in the App Store for on your Apple devices. And so once it's installed, it's the same as the web integration agent and the browser. You're going to type in your URL. You're going to type in your email address as your user code, so same as the web integration agent, and then you're going to type in your password. Same password that you use to get in to your computer. It's all kind of integrated now. So I type in my password, it's hiding it on the screen, and click continue. And again, we have our two-factor authentication. So at all ways to get in, we're using two-factor authentication. Then kind of what's neat about what Apple does, I'm sure Android does something similar, is it gives you a little shortcut to paste the code from the text right into the box. So we're going to paste that in. We're just going to tap that button and say, okay, and now we've done our two-factor authentication, and it's got us to the landing page. So if I head over to our favorite matters in the same way, I can open up this document by tapping on that I, and I can open up a view of it. If I go back to my home screen, it's possible to open this document up in Word. So I tap the document and then the share button, and it allows us to say check out and open in Word. So then I have my shortcuts, and the document's gone into Word, and it's put it in its Files app. So there's a Files app on iOS that it stores these documents. In this case, I put it just on my iPhone, but you can put it in things like OneDrive or Dropbox from the Files app. If you wanted to create a new document, you can do that as well. So you just hit import document. It talks to the Files app on your iPhone. I have one document here that I'm going to tap on, and it'll ask me if I want to upload it as a new file. And I fill out the profile card in the same way that I'm used to. And so once I fill this out, then it uploads the document into Worldox. So those are the three ways that that I can access web. So we've got the browser, we've got a web integration agent, and we've got our iOS application. And all three of those can be added on to an existing Worldox installation that you'd have, whether that be Worldox Cloud Canada or Worldox, whether you're running Worldox Professional in something like our private cloud service. So thanks so much for everybody's time. I'm happy to have been able to kind of show you sort of the interruption with my connectivity. Glad I was able to get back quickly. And if you have any questions, we're happy to answer them. I'll pass it back over to Mike.
Great, Scott, thank you. Thanks, glad you were able to pull back from the brink there with after your connectivity drop. So I think that's the end of our content, and we're coming down to the wire here, but hopefully we have a few questions out there, and we might be able to address a couple of those before we have to shut it down.
So hi, Mike, this is Rebecca. I actually have a question for you that I suspect might be helpful to some of the people listening. If somebody is trying to figure out which of these solutions is right for them, from my perspective, a big part of that is who owns the equipment that you use. Does the firm own a bunch of laptops that everybody uses, or do people that work for the firm own their own equipment? Is that something that, I mean, when you're counseling people on which option is right for them, is that one of the factors that you talk about with them?
Yeah, that's a great question, and it's coming up pretty frequently now, considering that many people have been forced to use devices that were not issued by the firm. Our best advice would be that the firm should own and issue the equipment that their data is being accessed from. All things being equal, I think that's probably a best practice. A great benefit of the private cloud scenario is that there is no intermingling or overlap between the firm data in the private cloud and the user's personal private space on their home computer. So there's a great capability that exists there in the private cloud scenario to allow that. Things get pretty murky when you're doing Worldox Cloud Canada or other web mobile type access, and you're bringing confidential firm data in the form of documents down to a personal private PC. So big picture, I would recommend, all things being equal, the firm should probably own the equipment that the data is being accessed from. But the private cloud allows everything to be kept separate. Data stays in the data center, and the user's personal private space is not effectively being encroached upon by the firm management.
Now, when people are considering Worldox Cloud or your full desktop solution, typically, I guess, do they, with the applications that they use, do you consider whether they already have other applications that are cloud-based or anything like that? What does your typical customer who decides on the desktop versus Worldox Cloud consider?
Yeah, so they're taking into consideration, of course, what other programs that they use and whether or not they're really pure cloud browser-based applications or if there's an installed PC component. They're also taking into consideration what other infrastructure they have and where that is in their life cycle. They may have some servers and storage in their office that they've just purchased a year ago, and they want to see the useful life of that played out a little bit to get the return on their investment. So we would go through a process of assessing all of the programs that are in use and what the state of the firm's infrastructure is to help guide them to make the right choice. The private cloud scenario, providing compatibility with practically any traditional legal application, it provides a fantastic way to basically keep using all of the software that you're accustomed to and eliminating the on-premises infrastructure so you get sort of the best of both worlds.
Now, one thing that really impressed me, before I came to work for Worldox, I worked at law firms for 25 years and have used desktop solutions like yours. And one thing that has always been challenging is presenting any sort of video or audio content within the session in a way that is as robust as if you were accessing it from your local PC. So I was very impressed to hear that you have Zoom that people use within, as well as Teams. How long has that been available?
That's a great question, and that's measured literally in terms of weeks and not months or years or longer. That was a tremendous effort. We once we entered lockdown mode in March, and video conferencing went from being a novelty or just a nice to have something that somebody might use once a month to being something that almost every lawyer needed to use almost every day. We diverted all of our resources, our best engineers, to define an architecture that would allow that to work well and provide a good end user experience. So we worked very hard for a number of weeks to engineer an architecture would support this configuration, and to create all of the documentation that our clients would need to understand how it works and what the requirements are. So yeah, I'm equally as impressed as you are that we actually managed to pull that off. And Zoom works very well. You know, we at LexCloud, we get together, as most companies are these days, for occasional virtual cocktail hours, and we pile a whole bunch of people into a Zoom meeting, and we're eating our own dog food on this. We're doing it all from inside of Citrix, and it provides a pretty good experience.
Well, I'm definitely impressed, because I know how hard that is to do.
Yeah, it is hard to do, and it's hard to balance the load on the infrastructure and the requirements on the endpoints, and yeah, and we're pretty pleased that we came up with a solution to make all that work, and that it truly is a requirement that came out of nowhere just in the last few months, and we've been able to begin deployments to our clients of the necessary pieces just really starting last week.
Well, that's great. I'm not sure that we want to keep people for too much longer. We've gone over the hour. So is there anything you'd like to leave everybody with in parting?
No, well, I just wanted to thank everyone again for taking the time on a beautiful June Friday afternoon to come and listen in on all of this. And Scott and I'd be happy to talk to anybody about their existing Worldox deployment and how they can leverage the cloud to extend the abilities to their end users. Or if anybody paying attention has a desire, has not adopted Worldox yet and would like to know how they can do that the best way possible, we'd love to talk.
All right, well,
Okay.
Thank you, Mike and Scott. Hella, I'll turn it over to you.
Thanks very much, Rebecca.
Okay.
Thank you, Hella.
Thanks so much.
All right. Well, thank you both, Mike and Scott, for doing the webinar. And as mentioned, we are going to post a recording of this. So anyone who was not able to attend today, they will still have a chance to see it. And to everyone who were able to join us today, thank you. And hopefully you'll come back next week. And we look forward to meeting up with you again. Thank you and goodbye for today.